You do have one guy who, yeah, he's smaller, but he's a top fighter. He can punch, and he's fighting a guy who's not a top pro fighter, who's bigger.
I can see Tank just outboxing him and making it real easy.
Tank Davis is a violent human being. He's a savage. And he didn't feel in his element. It's a real thing. It's a real thing. If you're from the...
Several boxing veterans have voiced the same view. Jake Paul stands almost no chance of surviving against Gervonta Tank Davis. Shakur Stevenson, one of the most technically gifted fighters of this era, said that even though Jake has a major size advantage, it won't be enough to help him overcome Tank's skill and experience. According to Stevenson, Tank is far too sharp, too seasoned, and too battle-tested for someone like Jake to handle.
These two guys.
I mean, styles will play some part of the fight, but if I'm thinking like I'm Tank, I'm probably just going to go out there and try to outbox him and use my knowledge and IQ against him. So I can see Tank just outboxing him and making it real easy.
Is there any way you could, any realistic or legitimate way in your mind you could see Jake Paul winning a fight against Tank?
No.
No way.
Nope.
Not a lot of people have talked about Jake and say he's got good power. Not even, and I get anything could technically happen, but you don't even see a realistic shot where he could land one big punch and Tank being so much smaller, he just can't handle the power.
Nah, not at all. I think Tank is, he's been boxing his whole life. Been boxing since a kid, so I doubt like that's gonna be an issue or problem. I think Jake is good for where he's at, but I think it's just levels.
Do you see a more likely chance that Tank wins by decision or by knockout?
By decision. I mean, that guy's too big. I don't think that he's just gonna knock that guy out. So I see him like outboxing.
Could you see a realistic possibility where Tank could knock him out, although more likely that it is, like you just said, decision?
Nah, I don't see him knocking him out. No.
Will you watch, Shakur? I mean,
no.
Obviously, no?
Hell no, nah, that ain't really like, I mean, like I said, here's the thing, like I got two sides of me when it comes down to it. I got a business side, and then I got a competitor side, and from the competitive aspect, it don't excite me for me to be like, okay, I want to watch.
Show the Adult expanded on this, pointing out that Gervonta Davis has already proven he can handle taller and stronger opponents, most notably Ryan Garcia. He reminded fans that Ryan was not only taller but also faster and more explosive, yet Tank still found his rhythm, closed the distance, and won decisively. Chris argued that if Davis could neutralize Ryan Garcia, a skilled natural boxer, then Jake Paul, whose experience is far more limited, poses no real threat. He explained that Jake's size may look good on paper, but boxing isn't about muscle. It's about distance, timing, and ring IQ, where Tank excels at the highest level.
See if he's rattled. See, when it's all said and done, the whole talking shit goes out the window. Jake's scared. And let me tell you this too. I looked at that, I'm sizing them up. I'm looking at Tank and Jake, and I'm looking at him. Tank can reach him too. He reached Ryan Garcia. He reached Mario Barrios. I was like, he ain't gonna be able to reach him. He's gonna reach him, I saw it. So Tank's gonna reach him. He knows he's gonna reach him. Listen, I wanna say this too. Funny as hell. Before I say all this, Alicia Baumgardner, shout out to you, girl. I couldn't believe out of all the women to be the first one to do 3 minute, 12 rounds is Alicia Baumgardner. And I really know if I have a great endurance, great stamina, and she's doing this shit. Shout out to Alicia Baumgardner. Because, what's her name, Layla? I don't really know her like that. But she looks like she ain't rattled by Alicia. So that's a perfect dance partner for that. Try to drag Alicia Baumgardner into lake water, see what's going on with that. Shout out to Alicia Baumgardner. But let's get back to Tank. First of all, Tank knows what he's doing. Tank Davis, he said, what he was just making all these implications that it's going to be scripted. When he said, you're paying me, and then he was like, yo, you're going to have to give me extra. And then he said that this is scripted.
At the end of the day, I gave this little guy an opportunity. He should be thanking me. I'm paying him. I'm his boss. He reports to me, and I'm going to fucking son him on November 14th. So fuck you, little man.
You paying me? Are you paying me?
Yeah.
100%? 100%. Facts?
Correct.
Yes? Correct?
Correct. I'm your daddy.
Former world champion and analyst Chris Algieri praised Gervonta Davis for his rare ability to draw massive attention whenever he fights. Algieri explained that modern boxing isn't just about skill anymore. It's about star power, entertainment, and the ability to fill arenas. Davis, he said, represents this new era of boxing where charisma and performance go hand in hand. Every time Tank steps into the ring, the excitement he creates energizes fans everywhere. Interestingly, Algieri also credited Jake Paul for a similar effect, though in a very different way. While Jake lacks elite technical skill, his arrival brought millions of new viewers who might never have cared about boxing before.
Boxing could be Jake Paul soon. And the face of boxing is basically... Yeah, the face of boxing now is based on if you sell and if people tune in and how many eyes are tuning in when you fight. Gervonta Davis had that. Jake Paul has that. Now they're fighting each other.
These are created products. These are still created products. Jake made his name going to Walgreens and making funny faces. You know what I mean? And it was just blowing up on YouTube and whatnot, right? I mean, that's how he started.
The world we live in now, dude. It's unfortunate. Okay, it's not like Sugar Ray Leonard, who was the best fighter in the world and marketable. It's not like Oscar De La Hoya, who was a gold medalist, a great fighter and marketable.
But what I'm saying is technology allows us to make, if I want to take this shoe off right here, and I say, I want to make my Nike sneaker into the best product possible, and I got enough money to push it behind it. I put it all over your social media platform, and I put it all over your TV set and all over your phone and all over everything. You know what, bro? You're gonna
Charleston White, however, gave a much harsher opinion. He dismissed Jake Paul's boxing career completely, calling it entertainment disguised as sport. According to White, Jake's fights lack the real unpredictability of true competition. Instead, they are staged events made to generate money and online attention. He argued that Jake has never faced a true top-tier boxer who could expose his flaws. For Charleston and many purists, Jake Paul has gamed the system, using boxing as a marketing stage, not a craft. White warned that if Jake ever fought Gervonta Davis, the difference would be night and day. Davis's world-class training, reflexes, and experience would expose every weakness Jake has.
YouTube boxing and what people say is going on in the media, without a doubt, I think Charleston White is 100% right about that. Don't believe anything you hear. Don't believe anything you see. Wait to see how things play out, and ultimately everything will come out in the wash. Well, going into this fight with Gervonta Davis, I had my concerns about the fight because of the same type of reasoning that Charleston White used, except for mine is slightly different. I don't think that either one of these guys are going to try to do too much damage to each other. Number one, because if it's scripted, which more than likely to an extent it will be, Gervonta Davis is not going to put himself in a situation where Jake Paul is going to actually be able to hurt him. And with these 12-ounce gloves on top of Gervonta Davis's hands, which is bigger.
Veteran trainer and boxing analyst Teddy Atlas compared a Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis matchup to when Logan Paul faced Floyd Mayweather. He explained that while Jake might have a clear advantage in size and strength, experience and timing always decide the fight. Atlas described Davis as a dancer in the ring, a fighter who moves with purpose, controls tempo, and shapes rhythm like music. Every punch and step has meaning. Tank has spent years facing dangerous opponents and learning how to break them down. Jake Paul, Atlas said, lacks the sharpness, reflexes, and awareness needed at that level. Boxing, he added, isn't about muscle. It's about mastery.
Like this when I heard it? No, I didn't like it, to be honest, for the optics and everything else I just said. But you do have one guy who, he's smaller, but he's a top fighter, he can punch. And he's fighting a guy who's not a top pro fighter, who's bigger. What if he hits him on the chin? It'll wind up selling. And that's what'll wind up selling. The what if. What if Tank makes him do a cha-cha? He hits him on the chin. And Jake Paul, we're going to find out if he can dance. Whoa. Do the cha-cha. That's what's going to sell it. And you can't argue that what if. You can't. I know I get to places that other people won't go and everything else. They just dismiss stuff because it's easier to do that. It's safer to do that. You don't have to bows and arrows coming at you from people that argue with you because you did that. But I don't care. I've had bows and arrows my whole life. I don't care. But that's true. That what if. What if this guy who is a real good puncher, who is one of the best fighters in the world right now, what if he hits him? What if he makes a miss and he counters him? or he jumps up in the air.
The analyst also reflected on Gervonta Davis's character outside the ring. He admitted that Tank may not be the most polished talker or natural promoter, but that's not what makes him dangerous. His confidence, he said, comes from growing up in a tough environment where survival shaped who he became. During press events, Tank rarely talks much or engages in trash talk, yet his presence speaks louder than words. He never looks nervous or unsure. There's a quiet intensity about him, a silent energy that unsettles opponents long before fight night.
Tank Davis is a violent human being. He's a savage. And he didn't feel in his element. It's a real thing. It's a real thing. If you're from the hood, you will know. It's kind of like taking a guy from the block and putting him in the corporate world in a business meeting. He's going to be so out of his element that he's just, he doesn't even know how to argue without sounding like, I'm gonna whoop your ass, I'm gonna beat you. The way Jake was doing things, he had the clowns coming out.
Still, not everyone believes Gervonta Davis can beat Jake Paul. Some boxing experts remind fans that weight classes exist for a reason. Tank's speed and knockout power dominate at lightweight, but facing a naturally heavier man could change everything. A 135-pound fighter going against someone who walks around near 190 pounds faces serious disadvantages in power, reach, and durability. Even if Tank lands clean, Jake's larger frame might absorb it better. These analysts argue that physics matters. Tank's usual dominance may not translate against someone Jake's size.
I want to know, who will win in this fight? Jake Paul or Tank Davis? It's a legit question. And I actually want to really hear your thoughts on who do you think is going to win. Because I know what Vegas is saying, but I want to know what you think. You got
Personally, I think Tank too little, bro.
Yo,
I think Tank too little.
I'm so glad you have a brain on your fucking shoulder.
I think Tank too little.
I said, bro.
I think Tank's too little. That's what I'm saying. At weight classes for a reason.
Davis
that weight class for a reason.
5'5", 135 pounds. Jake Paul is 6 feet, 205 pounds.
That's what I'm saying.
Bro.
He's
6'1",
too little.
205. Everybody's like, yeah, bro, but Tank it only takes one good punch. Yes, it takes one good punch when you're about the same size. There's a 60, 70 pound difference in weight in these people. I don't think nobody puts the physics in mind. Jake Paul gets punched in the face by dudes 200 pounds with all their might on a weekly basis. 135-pound puncher, bro. If y'all remember the Mayweather versus Conor McGregor fight, Conor walks around like 180 on the regular. He's like 5'9", 180. Mayweather's like 5'7", 145. That 30-pound, 20, 30-pound difference, bro. If you remember that fight, Mayweather was putting mittens on Conor. Guess what happened to Conor? He didn't hit the ground once.
No.
He lasted all 12 rounds getting hit with flurries. I'm talking about Mayweather was having his time. He's being cocky with it, hitting him with all kind of combos. And we're watching the last 3 rounds of that shit like, yo, knock him out. And you know what? He could not knock him out, because Conor gets punched by people that are 170, 180 pounds on a regular. And just that 20, 30-pound difference, it was like impossible for him to do anything. And that's exactly what I feel like is going to happen.
Despite the arguments, Jake Paul's presence in boxing keeps the sport buzzing. For many fans, his fights are pure entertainment, a spectacle that keeps boxing in the spotlight. Critics call them money grabs, but others say Jake's involvement brings fresh energy and unpredictability. Love him or hate him, Jake knows how to draw attention. Every time his name appears on a poster, people tune in, some to cheer, others hoping to see him fall. That tension makes boxing exciting again. Even traditional fans admit that, like it or not, Jake Paul brings the drama, storylines, and energy the sport had been missing.
People said, this is bad for boxing, this is bad for boxing. Mate, calm down, calm down. Honestly, I'm not a big fan of him, but he's bringing a lot of eyes to boxing. A lot of eyes to boxing. He's doing great for boxing. I don't care what everyone thinks. The weight difference is mad though. Lightweight to, God knows, cruiserweight or whatever the hell he is. Oh, Gervonta might get thumped up, you know. Hey, if he gets bashed up, I can never go on TikTok live again. The TikTok warriors are going to give me a hard time. They're going to say Jake Paul's undisputed. Oh my God, he's the best thing since sliced.
Exhibition. Thing with Jake Paul, I think he's a good area title level fighter. And that's a good level. Like, you can be proud of it. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's good. But the Mike Tyson fight I didn't like. The Chavez fight was just farcical because he's 10, 11 years past his best, up 6 weight divisions. But less of a problem because Chavez wasn't in his 50s. fighting MMA guys. Again, he's fighting people that don't do the same, that they're not even in the same sport. But while they're a bit older, they're still not in the 50s. So all that stuff, I won't really watch any of it. I think I've watched one fight against Tommy Fury, the only professional boxer in and around his prime years, and he got beat. But I think he's area title level. I think he works really hard. I think he trains hard. And I don't think he's a bad fighter at all. I don't think he's I don't think he's a good fighter, but he's not a bad fighter. With experience, he's not bad at all. But Gervonta Davis is a lightweight. So, by all means, if they make a few quid, nobody gets hurt, then great. But I certainly wouldn't be paying a penny to watch it. I think it's just absolutely ridiculous, farcical. Who wants to watch an exhibition? Gervonta Davis is in his prime years. Why is he wasting his time? Why is that having a rematch for the fella who got a draw?